I'm Corolla on Instagram and socials. I'm at From Corolla. In this video, yes, you guessed it, we're going to be talking about the Coffee Monsters Co. Esterbrook Estie fountain pen, as well as the matching ink and blotter paper and some extra goodies that came with the set. So we'll do a deep dive. I'll show you the pen. I'll also do a writing and drawing sample with the matching ink. And then we'll talk about the nib that I got in it, the journaler. So let's get into it. So for me, this collaboration is very, very special because I am a fan of Esterbrook. As you can tell, I already have a few Esties in my collection, and I'm so excited to add this special Estie to my collection. Helen means a lot to me. She's a friend, and I've known of the Coffee Monsters Co. for about 5 years now. And I first got into the Coffee Monsters Co. because of Helen's cute designs of the emoji, and because I'm into stationery and stickers and washi tape, I immediately fell in love with all of her products, all of her designs. And not only that, but the way that Helen nurtures her community and builds it up and is so supportive of everyone who's part of her community. And she makes you feel welcome and supported, and she just takes that extra little bit of time to get to know people that are part of her community that love her and support her. And I'm also lucky to live pretty close to Helen, and so we've been able to hang out a few times. I've tried to finagle her and get her into fountain pen nibs and custom nibs and grinds and stuff like that. So I'm still working on it, but I love that I've been able to spend some time getting to know her. So this collaboration definitely means a lot in terms of knowing who Helen is and how much work she's put into it, how much effort she's put into it, how much thought she's put into putting together a collaboration that her fan base and her community would love. And it shows in the products that Helen and the Esterbrook team were able to put together. And so I was lucky enough to purchase the pen, the ink, and the blotter paper set from Helen at the Coffee Monsters Co. directly when it launched on April 5th, 2025. I think the products went very, very quickly, sold out across retailers worldwide. And so it has been a success. There's a lot of hype around this pen. If you have seen videos or have seen, pictures of the pen and the ink, then you'll be very aware of what it looks like. But I thought it would be kind of nice just to go through my experience of, getting the pen and also, just kind of experiencing it. So if you'd like to experience it with me, let's go through the things. So because I ordered from the Coffee Monsters Co., Helen threw in this little vinyl for the pen purchase. And so it's really, really cute. Keep creating with the emoji holding the fountain pen and the ink. Very cute. And then because I ordered it in April, you get the April sampler that she adds in as a freebie to all her orders, depending on when you order the products. And then this cute journaling card. I think this is Sokusai, a Japanese artist. It's just a really cute card. And then just like a little thank you note from Helen, a little joke in the end if you're into like dad jokes or, it's just really cute, funny jokes. What should you do when a boat is sick? Take it to the dock. And what you can use this for, in case you're not aware, of the Coffee Monsters Co. bean card program. At the top, you'll see this coffee bean, which you can then take off. It's a sticker on itself, and you can add that to the back of your bean card. And when you get a certain amount, you can redeem them. So collect 21 coffee beans, and you can redeem for a special sticker sheet. And so that's what I got for ordering directly from the Coffee Monsters Co. And as well, the blotter paper set, the ink that goes with the set, and the pen. So the blotter sheets, there's 5 sheets. And so there's one large keep creating which is very encouraging. This one that just says hello, and the emoji is just really, really happy. And then there's a pattern. And then there's 2 sheets that are perforated. And so what you can do is you can either detach them in 3s, or you could detach just 2 of them and then sort of use a smaller sheet. And if you detach them separately, it sort of comes out like this. And what you do with a blotter sheet or blotter paper is you throw this into your journal or your planner or wherever you're using your fountain pens. And what it will do is it will protect your notebook from having some of that ink transfer onto another page when you close your book. And so technically you don't need to wait for your ink to dry if you're sort of jotting something down and you just kind of need to go. You can put this on top gently and close your book and you're good to go. And so blotter sheets are very useful for that. As well, if you're writing in your notebook and if it's hot or you're sweaty or you're worried about hand oils transferring onto your fountain pen friendly paper, which is a thing, you can write on top of this blotter sheet. And so just use one of these small perforated pieces of blotter paper and just put it underneath your hand as you're writing. And that should protect your paper as well from transferring hand oils and other, things that might affect the way that your fountain pen writes on the paper. So that's a little spiel about the blotter paper. And so now let's talk about the pen a little bit. This is the packaging. You may have already seen, different videos on how the packaging is put together. I find it just so thoughtful and so cute how Helen thought of the packaging in terms of, because you have this pull-out here, she thought of this as a desk. And so the emoji is using the fountain pen to write something. These are tabletop treasures. And because it's a desk, you have these drawers. And you also have the drawer that you end up pulling out to get the pen. So that's the box. And then also on the bottom, you have a little message from Helen. This was meant to be for her 9th anniversary of the Coffee Monsters Co. So it's a special collaboration with Esterbrook. And just a little spiel about what it means to her, which is very thoughtful and very nice. And so when you pull out the drawer of the packaging to get to the pen, what you get is a sticker sheet. So this is washi paper, so it's a little bit thinner than your regular sticker sheet, which shouldn't bulk up your notebooks too much, but it's very cute. All these little emojis, having fun, writing with a fountain pen, cleaning the fountain pen, the ink bottle. Super
cute.
And because I ordered from Helen, she wrote a little note on the note card that you get from Esterbrook. And I ordered the journaler nib in my Estie, and it is ground by Gena from Custom Nib Studio. If you don't know of Gena is a very, very talented nib specialist out of LA, California. And they do the journaler nib specifically for Esterbrook as part of the special nib program. So every once in a while, you'll be able to get the journaler nib with an Estie as a special order. And it was also part of the nib lineup for the Coffee Monsters Co. Estie as well. And so you could get the Estie in extra fine, medium, or journaler. And because the journaler is actually custom ground by Gena, there was a limited amount available. And so ordering it directly from the Coffee Monsters Co. was a little bit stressful because it sold out so quickly. And so, I had to check out super fast within seconds of it going live. And I still can't believe I snagged the journaler nib in the Estie. And I really wanted it because I just love that this collaboration brought together some really great people that are part of this fountain pen community. And I love Gena's custom nibs. You can find them at pen shows sometimes, grinding nibs, and there are other custom grinds you can get from Gena as well. But the journaler is a really special one. And later in the video, I will show you a comparison between this journaler, which is ground from a medium stock nib, and a broad journaler. So a journaler that I had Gena grind using a broad nib. And so we'll do a little bit of a comparison and see if there's a little bit of a difference there that you can notice. But as well with a pen, if you are, if you're new to fountain pens, or you just like, using cartridges on the go, then they do include a cartridge which you can just pop into your fountain pen and you're good to go. And then the tiniest little bit of detail that you may not see right away is when you pop this little cushion that the pen sits on, you see the bottom of the drawer, and there's, pieces of paper, memo pads, and other things, and two little emojis that are peeking out. And they are so cute with their little hearts and just, yeah. So they're kind of hidden in there, which is a cute little detail that I just love. I love all the little details. And so a little bit more about the pen. The color is sort of this cream, very warm cream beige color. Sort of reminds me of a very milky latte. It has this gold trim on it. The cap band has Esterbrook etched into it or engraved into it. And the cap band, which you may be able to notice, is like a material. It's a special material. So this cap band material, as well as the grip section, was made by Jonathan Brooks from Carolina Pen Company, another great pen maker. And so it is revealed when you open up the cap, and each pen has its own unique pour in the grip section. So not one pen will look the same just because of how unique this material is and the swirl pattern of the different colors that make up the grip. And in the light, in the sunlight, you can sort of see a little bit of the shimmer that is in this part of the material. It's a lighter color, it's a little bit shimmery, and I personally love, love, love this dark pour in here. And so you can see where the materials kind of blend a little bit. And to me, that does look like, you have a cup of coffee and you pour some milk in there, and all the colors that kind of swirl together in there. So yeah, I love this detail. It's so unique and so well crafted, and it goes so well with the pen, right? So you have that matching sort of seamless color blending of the cream and the latte and coffee. And then you have the nib, which has this really cute detail of the emoji head on there. So you have the initials, GS, Gena Celerino, and J for journaler. And so it's marked that this is a journaler nib. And if you're not familiar with the journaler nib, it is kind of like a smooth, rounded stub. It's very, very comfortable to write with, and you can do long writing sessions with it. The broad journaler that I have is one of my daily writers because it just feels so comfortable to write with, to journal with. And if you unscrew the barrel, it will come with a converter, so you'll see that in there. And I have already inked it up with the matching ink. I did a live stream where I unboxed everything for the first time to take a look at it, and I also inked up the pen using the matching ink, which is called Forgotten Iced Coffee. So if you want to take a look at the replay of that live stream to just watch me unbox it all and ooh and ah over everything, then take a look. So the other Esties that I have the Estie Raven in a broad nib, the Estie Scarlet with a fine nib that I had Kirk from Pen Realm grind into a Waverly nib, and so it has a little bit more of a Fude-like style. Then I have the Estie Nouveau Bleu. It has a Tetcho nib in it, and that is a special nib ground for Esterbrook by CY from Tokyo Station Pens or Kyosedo. Then I have the Estie Aqua, the Estie Aqua. I actually got it with a double broad nib, but sometimes I exchange or interchange that nib with a different nib if, I want a specific writing style. And I have the Estie Quirky Leaf and a broad journaler nib, which was ground by Gena. And now I have the TheCoffeeMonsterzCo Estie with a regular journaler nib. And so let's do some writing and drawing samples. And I have my Sterling ink. I use this planner as a hobbies journal or an interests journal. And so here I take all my notes on fountain pens and inks and things that I have inked up for the month, as well as doing writing samples of fountain pens and inks that I try. So let's fill this out and we'll get to know the pen a little bit more. Let's do that. So you'll notice as well that the cap has a little bit of a spring to it, and it's called a cushion closure inner cap. And what that just means is that there's a little bit of there's a seal here that will protect your nib from drying out too quickly. And so you won't have the issue of you're taking out your fountain pen, it doesn't start writing because your nib has dried out. The cap should protect it from that problem, and you can sort of feel how secure it is when you close the cap. So when you push in a little bit, you'll feel a little bit of that spring. So just kind of gently push in as you twist, and that will close it. So the brand is Esterbrook. And the TheCoffeeMonsterzCo Estie is the model. And the nib is a journaler. And it is cut out of or ground out of a medium stock nib. And the color is a gold color. And I have it inked with the matching ink called Forgotten Iced Coffee. By TheCoffeeMonsterzCo. And Esterbrook. So let's talk a little bit about the ink. And so a little bit about the packaging again. So much thought went into this. And so you have this string closure. And so when you open it up, there's a little lock that's hidden underneath. And so the emoji holds the key to the lock to open it, which I just find so cute. And then you have this little emoji here with a wrench thinking maybe, you know, the wrench can help. So when you open it up, the ink bottle is sort of this tapered design, and so it sort of helps to keep the bottle sturdy on your desk. Very, very cute label, Forgotten Iced Tea, and it's a frosted glass bottle, which is really nice. So that's the ink, and so you can sort of see here the shade of it already, but I will show you a little bit more. And so in terms of writing, this is what a journaler looks like. And so you can kind of see this rounded stub, very smooth, a little bit of a thicker line going vertical and a little bit thinner horizontal. And so your vertical lines, as you move down, you'll see are a little bit thicker, and your horizontal lines are a little bit thinner. But the way that Gena grinds it, it's still very smooth in terms of transition between vertical and horizontal lines. And so you don't really feel, you don't really feel that it's an awkward transition. And so I'll show you how it feels or what it looks like to draw with it, which I think feels very smooth. I love doing these sort of doodles and sketches with a fountain pen, just to test out the nib and also to test out the ink, because it will sort of show me what it looks like when I'm shading, and also gives me a feel for what the nib feels like when you're doing sort of these loops and different directional lines. And I can tell right away that this is a very smooth nib because I'm able to do these drawings or this drawing very easily without feeling anything snag or any kind of, scratchiness. And I just feel that smoothness right away. And so that in itself is such an enjoyment in terms of writing and drawing. And so that's what the writing and drawing with this pen looks like. You can see the ink as well. So if you're wondering what the journaler nib looks like compared to a custom ground broad journaler, I'll do a little bit of a comparison writing. So this journaler is ground from a medium nib. And so we'll do a little writing session here. So this is the medium journaler. And this is the broad journaler. So you can tell the difference in the line width, especially when you're looking at the vertical lines between the medium and the broad. And they still have the same sort of style because they're both a journaler, but because this is ground from a broad nib, you can see a little bit more of the variation as well as a little bit more of the ink. And in terms of writing experience, I can definitely feel the difference between a broad and a medium. A medium is really, really good if you have smaller writing or you're writing in a smaller space in terms of grid or lines. The broad is really great if you do have a little bit of a larger handwriting or if you just want to see a little bit more variation in the lines. And so I tend to, favor broader nibs because I enjoy seeing line variation as well as the different ink properties. And so that's why I ended up having a journaler ground on a broad nib. So that's the difference between the medium journaler, which is what you would be able to order from Esterbrook, ground by Gena. And this is the broad journaler, which you can have Gena grind at a pen show or an event that you attend. If you know me or have seen my content, you'll see that I love to paint with fountain pen inks. And so let's do a little bit of a painting session and we'll get to know the ink a little bit more. So for painting, I like to use the Everyday book from Galen Leather. It is Tomoe River paper and it's blank, but it comes with guide sheets if you need them. And I love painting on this with fountain pen inks because the paper handles it really well. If there's any bleed through, it doesn't bother me because I only use one side of it. And then you get that satisfying crinkle sound. So if you're into that, like I am, then this sound would be really, really, really nice to you. So I'm going to take a little bit of Forgotten Iced Coffee, kind of add it to the paper. And then move it around a little bit. Then we'll use the green to add some leaves. And I'm using a wet paintbrush. I already dipped this in water just to kind of get the bristles a little bit wet. And so the ink is a little bit diluted because of that. And so it'll come out a little bit lighter on paper as I paint with it, which is fine. So that's the ink as it's drying. So it's pretty wet on this paper here, but as it dries, you can see different sort of tones coming through, and we'll see when it dries as well. And we'll draw on top of it and just kind of enjoy the ink. And so if you've watched my videos before, you know that I love the style of line drawing where I just kind of intuitively go with the outlines that I've created with the ink or paint, and I don't think too much about it, but it is such an enjoyment for me to see the different shading that ink provides, or sheen or shimmer, depending on what ink you're using, and just enjoying the different elements of an ink. So I love doing it this way because it lets me see a little bit more of the ink, and so when I actually ink up a pen with it, I kind of remember these different properties of it that I really liked and enjoyed. And so for me, that's just an extra special element of having fun with fountain pen inks that you may not be able to if you're inking up your pen especially if you tend to use those sort of finer, extra fine, or even medium nibs where sometimes you don't see all of the ink properties. But painting with it, I think, is like sort of a special way of enjoying and seeing those different properties. And super, super fast. I do it very quickly, very, I don't put a lot of thought or effort into it in terms of trying to put pressure on the end outcome. This is just what it is. There you have it. The Coffee Monsters Co. and Esterbrook Forgotten Iced Coffee, and then Esterbrook Quirky Leaf. And just a little bit more of the ink, a little bit more of the shading. And how lovely it actually is. The different tones to it. So that is the ink, Forgotten Iced Coffee. This is the pen, the Coffee Monsters Co. and Esterbrook Estie. And that is the nib, A Journaler by Gena. And this is also the blotter paper. Something to be used, something to be enjoyed, and something to throw into your book to just bring it a little bit of happiness, a little bit of creativity, a little bit of a reminder to keep creating, to have fun, to enjoy our supplies, to enjoy our stationery, and keep enjoying, keep using. So that's the Coffee Monsters Co. and Esterbrook collab Estie ink and blotter paper set. If you watched until the end, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for joining me. And go enjoy your stationery. Go play with your stationery. Have fun. And I'll see you in another video. I'm Corolla on socials and Instagram. You'll find me @FromCorolla. And I'll see you next time. Bye.